Hello, welcome to Guidancy Education channel. In this video, we are starting a new chapter under class 11. Second chapter, Atomic Structure. This is the first video in this chapter. Okay, now we will see the topics that are discussed in this video under this chapter. The topics discussed are discovery of electrons, cathode ray tube experiment, introduction to that topic, explanation of the experiment, observations and inference of each observation, characteristics of cathode rays, and conclusions. This video will be of great use to you, so watch the video without skipping so that you get all points cleared. And if you think the video is useful, like the video, share the video, and also leave your comments in the comment box below. If you have not yet subscribed my channel, do subscribe it now and also press the bell button so that you get intimated as soon as videos are posted. Thank you very much. First, we will introduce ourselves to this topic, discovery of electrons. We will recall certain points that you have already learned in your smaller classes. And remember a few important scientists and their works which led to the discovery of electrons. You already know atoms are the smallest particles of matter, and atoms are made up of subatomic particles like electrons, protons, and neutrons. Electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged, and neutrons are neutral, no charge. Electrons have only negligible mass. Protons have a mass equal to 1 U. Neutrons have also a mass equal to 1 U. The mass of the atom is due to the mass of number of protons and neutrons present in it. Our knowledge about these subatomic particles is the result of experiments conducted by a number of scientists in the first half and second half of 19th century. The negatively charged particles were called electrons by J.J. Thomson as back as 1897. The term electron was coined by another scientist, G. Johnston Stoney, in the year 1891. Johnston Stoney was the Cambridge classmate of J.J. Thomson. Now we will remember the names of a few very important scientists who contributed towards our present day knowledge regarding the electron. All of them studied the conduction of electricity through gases at low pressure, applying high voltage. All of them used a discharge tube of one type or other to suit their experiment. Michael Faraday in 1950, Geisler 1954. He was the assistant of another eminent scientist, Plucker. W. Hittorf in 1859, student of Plucker. William Crookes, his equipment is called Crookes tube. That was in 1879. J.J. Thomson in 1897. There were several others as well. We have just mentioned 5 of them. Okay, now we will pass on to the experiment proper. We will see the details of the cathode ray tube experiment which led to the discovery of electrons. The cathode ray tube is a glass tube which is sealed at both ends, fitted with 2 electrodes, cathode and anode. Cathode is negative, anode is positive. It has an outlet fitted with a stopcock which can be connected to evacuation pump, by working which the pressure inside the tube can be adjusted as is desired. This is the anode, which is coated with zinc sulfide, a phosphorescent substance. It is connected to high voltage. The next diagram also shows a similar setup. There is only one slight difference. The anode is perforated. That is, it has holes. The wall of the tube behind the anode is coated with the phosphorescent substance. The experiment was conducted in different conditions. We will discuss 3 such conditions here. In one such experiment, the cathode ray tube which is otherwise called discharge tube or vacuum tube, contained a gas at atmospheric pressure. High voltage is passed through this gas. If there is flow of current, the phosphorescent substance will glow. But the observation was that there was no flow of current. That is, the phosphorescent substance did not show any glow. The reason is that gases are poor conductors of current. So they reduce the pressure. The pressure was reduced to 10 raised to minus 2 atmosphere. That is 1 to 10 millimeter of pressure. By reducing the pressure, the density of the gas is reduced. Then colored glow was observed. That is, from the cathode to the anode, a colored glow was observed. The color of the glow depends upon the nature of the gas. For example, for neon, the color is reddish orange. When the pressure was further reduced to 10 raised to minus 4 atmosphere, the glow which was observed in the previous case inside the tube as moving from the cathode to the anode stopped. But this zinc sulfide coating, which is a phosphorescent substance, started glowing. So, at very low pressures and high voltage, they assumed that some invisible ray was passing from the cathode to the anode, which caused the phosphorescent substance to show an yellowish green glow. This happened when the pressure was reduced to 10 raised to minus 4 atmosphere. This was further checked by using this experiment. When this anode was perforated, the glow appeared as spots on the fluorescent substance. This confirmed that there was an invisible ray flowing from cathode to anode, and this ray was called cathode rays. Cathode is negative and anode is positive. So, the rays have a tendency to move from negative towards the positive. Okay. Hence the name cathode ray tube experiment. Several experiments were conducted, and from that the properties or characteristics of the cathode rays were understood. Okay, we will see that. In one experiment, a light object, a wheel-like object is kept in the path of the cathode rays. I have shown only the basic parts of the diagram, not the entire diagram. Shown what is needed here. The rest I have explained in the previous clipping. Okay, this is a small light wheel-like object that is kept here, and when it was connected to this high voltage at low pressure, the rays that were produced could form the shadow of this object. If a screen is kept here, the shadow of this object is seen on the screen. So we can conclude that the rays travel in straight line. So this is one property of the cathode rays, and this is the experiment. In another experiment, when this wheel was kept like this, it was observed that the rays would rotate the wheel. It suggested that the ray consisted of material particles. So this is the second characteristic. So we have seen two properties or characteristics of this cathode rays. Let us proceed to see the other property. An electric field is supplied in the tube. Then high voltage is supplied at very low pressure. Then the cathode rays start passing. It passes from the cathode to the anode. This is the anode. It passes from the cathode to the anode. There is a small opening in the anode. So the rays pass through there, and on the other side an electric field is supplied. Another electric field is supplied inside the tube beyond the anode. So what happened there? The rays coming through this small perforation bend towards the positive electrode, suggesting that the material particles have negative charge. The rays are deflected by an electric field, and the direction of the deflection suggests that particles present in the cathode rays carry negative charge. That is the third characteristic. Okay, what about the next experiment? The experiment is more or less the same, but instead a magnetic field is applied here. The rays passing through the small opening in the anode, passes like this, and when subjected to this magnetic field, bend in this direction, suggesting that they carry a negative charge. So all the characteristics or properties of this cathode ray was really supported or proved by experiments. More experiments were conducted and they found out further characteristics of this cathode rays. It can heat up a foil. Property number 5. 6. The rays can ionize the gas. 7. A photographic plate kept in its path is affected by it. 8. It can pass through thin metallic foils. Its characteristics are independent of the nature of the electrode. That is the ninth characteristic. Whatever may be the material of the electrode, the properties of the cathode rays remain unaffected. Now we may add up one more. They move from cathode, which is negative, to positive, that is anode. This is cathode, to positive, that is anode. Therefore, carry negative charge. So these are the characteristics of cathode rays. So from these characteristics or observations, two important inferences were made. One is cathode rays are made up of material particles. Rays carry negative charge. These negatively charged material particles were called electrons. As I said earlier, the term electron was used by Thomson, but it was coined by Stoney. The cathode ray tube has lot of practical applications. What are they? The television picture tubes are cathode ray tubes, and the picture results due to the fluorescence of the television screen, which is coated with a fluorescent substance. The rays by themselves are not visible. That is why we are using a fluorescent substance to show its presence. I hope these points are quite clear. If you think the video is useful, like the video, share the video, and also leave your comments in the comment box below. If you have not subscribed, do subscribe it now, and also press the bell button to get notified as soon as new videos are posted. We will meet in the next video with another important topic like this. Thank you very much. Bye.